Chapter 26. The Shard's Lair. The descent into Eldralor's heart was suffocating. Azural, Talvar and Soraya pressed deeper into the ancient ruin, the air growing colder with every step. The narrow passageway walls were etched with scenes of battles and ancient symbols, faintly illuminated by Azural's blue flame. Soraya ran her fingers over the carvings, murmuring, "These speak of the first corruption, the war that left this land cursed." Her gaze drifted to Azural. A prophecy told of a power that could either protect or consume. Azural nodded, absorbing the weight of her role. She glanced at Talvar, who gripped his sword tightly, his face set with determination. They shared a silent promise to stand together no matter what lay ahead. At last they reached a cavernous chamber. In its centre, atop a blackened pedestal, stood the crimson shard, blood-red and pulsing with an eerie glow. Shadows danced across the walls, their movements strange and deliberate, as though driven by the shard's will. Azural felt its pull, her flames reacting to the shard's power like a magnet. Her steps slowed, her gaze fixed on the shard. She reached out, almost unconsciously, her fingers just inches from its surface. "It's calling you," Soraya whispered, awe and fear mingling in her expression. As Azural's fingers brushed the shard, a surge of energy flooded through her. Her vision darkened, and she found herself standing in an endless void. Before her loomed Vuva, his form a writhing mass of shadows, his eyes glinting with malice. "Well, well," he sneered, his voice a mocking hiss. "Drawn to power like a moth to flame, aren't you, Phoenix?" Azural's fists clenched, her fire blazing in response. "I came to end you, Vuva. This ends here." His laughter was cold, reverberating through the void. "You think you can wield the shard? This power is beyond you. It will consume you as it has all who came before." The vision shattered, pulling her back to the cavern. She stumbled, but Talvar's steady grip caught her, grounding her. "Are you all right?" he asked, his voice low but filled with concern. Azural steadied herself, her gaze hardening. "Vuva is trying to break me, but he won't succeed." Soraya stepped forward, her expression resolute. "Then let's end his hold here and now." Azural turned to the shard, her heart pounding. She knew what she had to do, but the shard's power thrummed, almost alive, resisting her every intention. Taking a deep breath, she raised her hands, her flames surging as she wrapped them around the shard, forcing her power to sever its connection to Vuva. The shard pulsed, its red glow intensifying, pushing back against her fire. Shadows clawed at her, hissing and snapping as they fought to resist her power. The ground trembled, cracks spider-webbing across the stone floor as the shard let out a deafening shriek. Soraya's voice broke through the chaos. "Azural, hold on! You're almost there!" Azural gritted her teeth, her fire blazing brighter, fueled by the strength of her allies beside her. The shard's resistance faltered, its light flickering as her flames consumed it. With a final surge, she unleashed everything she had, her flames burning with an intensity that shook the chamber. The shard cracked, then shattered, fragments dissolving into wisps of smoke that faded into the air. The room fell silent, the shadows dissipating like mist in sunlight. Azural took a shaky breath, the weight of the struggle settling over her. She turned to Soraya and Talvar, their faces pale but filled with pride. "It's done," she murmured, her voice barely a whisper. Soraya placed a hand on her shoulder, a soft smile breaking through her exhaustion. "You did it, Azural." Talvar's hand rested on his sword, his gaze fierce as he looked at her. "Whatever comes next, we're ready." Azural's heart swelled with gratitude. They had survived the darkness, but she knew that Vuva awaited them, his power weakened yet still formidable. The end was near, and she would face it with her allies beside her. Together they would see this through to the end.